In the fallout of all these interviews that came out with Nomura and Kitase last week, a bunch of different translations, a bunch of different things were said, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to kind of the same thing. The whole experience they're crafting for people, Final Fantasy VII Remake, what they're doing with that, the remake saga, even back to Crisis Core, Reunion, it all comes back to kind of the same thing that I've had a sinking feeling on. Or not sinking feeling, but a suspicion that they are really going to just retell the story, mixing things up, and just do it a different way. Just to keep us on our toes, so that we won't know when something's going to happen, this or that. If that's the case, all of the theories, except for the people that have been like, oh yeah, they're just gonna remake the storyline. They're gonna keep all the story beats, the same things are gonna happen, just in different times and different ways. All theories except that one are gone out the window, including mine, including a bunch of other ones and everything, and I'm fine with it. Like the whole time, I've really just been excited about the possibility of what's to come, speculating on, theorizing on that kind of stuff. But if we're all just pretty much wrong, and that's the direction they're going, to just remake the whole thing, but to kind of infuse aspects of the compilation in and retell that story using these other like assets or ideas or characters and things in the compilation and infusing them into that story, then I'm fine with it. I really am. I think really the whole time, the big thing for me is that I'm seeing now, it wasn't misdirection. It wasn't them blowing smoke. They were right. They were like, Final Fantasy VII will remain as you remember it, or as it was, or whatever the quote was, whatever the paraphrasing is there. Final Fantasy VII will remain Final Fantasy VII. It really wasn't just a throwaway piece of jargon. They really meant it. Like, I'm really starting to feel that way. Like, a couple weeks ago, I told you, I think it was a stream or a video or something like that, that I really felt that was what they were doing. I feel even more strongly now that's what they're doing. It's just a straight up, not one-for-one remake, but it is, they're just remaking that story. Whatever they use to, now things are obviously different, right? The singularity was not in the original game. That's the thing they're using to shake things up. To shake up the pieces on the board to get you to the end result in a different way or whatever, but theory's still being in play and we don't know what they're doing yet. It's just really a fascinating time to really, after absorbing and taking in everything that was said in those translations from those different interviews and whatnot, it's just fascinating to sit back and just be a fan. Everything they're doing right now and everything they're putting out seems to be well timed and just kind of right on cue. Everything they're delivering for us right now is just being masterfully done. I'm really excited down to, they've got us talking about a 30-second bit of music that was in the trailer that really they didn't show us anything in. They've got us talking about everything that comes out from this game. And for myself, it's not because it's from a fanatical point of view. It's fascinating what they've done. I'm just like really fascinated what they've done from a creator standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, just top to bottom. This is probably, for me, like, again, I don't play Final Fantasy XIV. I don't have the time to sink into it. I'm sure it's amazing. But for me, this is the most complete, full force effort that I have seen Square Enix put into a certain project. And this is, it's not like an ongoing games as a service kind of thing or whatever, this is a thought out project. This is their movie trilogy, essentially. This is their Lord of the Rings. This is what they're doing. And they're going full on into it. And some of the things that they talked about in those broad stroking, a lot of what they talked about in those interviews is how do we shake things up but remake Final Fantasy VII, but do it in a way to where you can't just know, okay, now we're going to go to Icicle Inn, and okay, now we're going to go here, now we're going to go there. Okay, here comes the snowboarding part. Here, and before that, it's like, okay, Aerith died an hour before this. Okay, it's sad, Okay, now we're going to fight. Okay, this is where we're going to fight Emerald Weapon. Okay, this is where we're going to fight Ultima Weapon. Okay, go into the desert and you find a Ruby Weapon. Yeah. They want to avoid that stuff. And I'm glad they are, because it's a new experience, but it's still the same characters, the same folks. It's like visiting old friends, and they know that that's the thing that has to stay intact. What I pulled from those interviews is just that. They understand how special this story is, how incredible this story is, and how they really have to take care handling it. And I feel more confident now with the direction that it's going than I did after I finished the game. Well, that's not fair to say. After I finished the game, I wasn't really sure how to feel about it. About a few weeks after I finished the game, we'll go that way with it, because I was super excited about where it was going. But I don't know if confident is the word I would have used. Now I'm full on confident that the direction they're going is the right direction, and they're sticking to their guns. They are not only sticking to their guns with the direction and the crazy stuff that happened at the end of the game. They're not retconning it. They're not going to backpedal on it. This was their plan the whole time. Whatever is going on with Zack, it's not a theory video, right? So we're not going to get into all that, but whatever's going on with Zack is whatever's going on with him. Whatever's going on in the story, the singularity, all that other kind of stuff. Whatever is happening, they're not backpedaling off of that stuff. They're not backtracking off of that stuff. They're doubling down on it. But they're using those things to just retell the story of Final Fantasy VII. At the end of the day, that's what I take away from all this, and that's why I'm super excited and confident about where it's going. They were right. They were right the whole time. They're like, Final Fantasy VII will remain as you remember it. Final Fantasy VII will remain Final Fantasy VII. Whatever that line is, I'm not like a database of every quote that ever came out. But whatever, you all know what I'm talking about. Whatever that was, I think it was Katase that said it. Brilliant. It's just brilliant. I can't wait to see how they do it. I can't wait for Rebirth. I can't wait for Crisis Core Reunion. Even if Crisis Core Reunion is a 1-for-1 remake of Crisis Core OG, which I don't think it is, but even if it is, it looks so much better. It's going to handle so much better. I can't wait to jump into it. And then we've got Rebirth coming possibly around Christmas time, 2023, February, March 2024 at the latest, most likely. So we're going to be eating well, folks. I'm really excited. So throw a like on the video, share, subscribe, all that stuff. You all watch YouTube videos. You all know how this works. You know what I'm about to ask you for. So do all that stuff, and most importantly, have a great day. Be safe, be good to each other. Keep rocking. All the things I'm going to ever ask you to do, that's the most important thing. Have a great day. Keep rocking. Be good to each other. Stay safe out there. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, guys. I want to say a quick thank you to my YouTube and Patreon members and supporters. If you would like to support the future creation of content on this channel, get some few extra perks and some art sent to your door every month, consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. Details and links are in the video description.